Greetings, Ravens. Geo here. There's a lot of new people jumping into the Armored Core series, so now would be a good time for a PvP guide to explain how things work in this game. I'm going to start with the very basics of PvP, and then go into PvP combat afterwards. Let's start with how to unlock multiplayer in Armored Core 6. You just need to beat the second chapter. This will unlock the Nest option, which is where you will find PvP. There is no matchmaking in Armored Core 6. It is all lobby-based, and you gain no rewards or rankings from winning matches. I recommend you search using the following settings, so you don't get stuck in a spectator role and actually get to play the game. Search 2 player limit rooms for 1 versus 1s, and 6 player limit for 3 versus 3s. But before we jump into PvP, let's talk about your setup first. PvP relies heavily on your AC build. As such, I recommend you at least beat Chapter 3 or 4 to gain a good variety of parts. Let's talk about OS tuning next. None of the attack or damage control stats work in multiplayer, so pay no attention to those for your PvP build. That leaves system unlocks and core expansions. However, you only get one use of the core expansions when in multiplayer, so keep that in mind. Now, how to decide which core skill is the best choice. To begin, let's sort things into high skill to low skill categories. First, Assault Armor is a high skill core. Assault Armor's range is for close combat encounters, so it's more situational compared to being more universal like the other cores. But using it right after someone uses their core attack will negate your opponent's attack and can even perform a kill combo. Pulse Protection is a very niche medium skill core. It's only good for protecting against long-ranged attacks, since people can just walk inside the shield and hit you. Not used very often. Next is Pulse Armor, which is also a medium skill core. This core shield can protect you from any attack and can get you out of the stun lock state instantly. But because people can negate your Pulse Armor with Assault Armor, it's actually useful to use it earlier than people would expect, so you can quick boost out of their counter Assault Armor right after. Last on the list is Terminal Armor, which is a low skill core. The shield activates automatically when you are about to die. Mostly useful for dealing large amounts of damage in a short period of time to hyper-aggressive opponents. But smart AC pilots can kite out the shield and pick off that 1 AP you have left. So play as aggressively as you can before the death shield runs out. Once you have decided on a core, let's move on to what you will be encountering the most in PvP. That will be meta weapons and builds, so you must learn how to beat the meta. Same as before, let's rank the accessibility of meta weapons and leg parts. Gatling guns, missiles, tanks, and tetrapods are low skill. Shotguns, launchers, and reverse joints are medium skill. Melee, energy weapons, drones, and bipeds are high skill. Most players will be using the low or medium skills weapons and legs, since high skills weapons are just harder to play and have more mechanics added to them. To beat Gatlings, you simply have to play outside their close-ranged attacks, and then go in for a counterattack once their weapons are close to overheating. For missiles and tetrapods, you have to just assault boost towards them and keep them locked in close-quarters combat. Tanks have an abnormally high levels of damage resistance, so do not try to stand in front of a tank and play a DPS game. There are 2 options for battling tanks depending on your build. With a medium or long-range build, you can simply just kite them and then go in for the stagger punish. If you have a close-quarters build, you have to kick them between each attack. Try to stun them for as long as you can, then retreat quickly once they are free. Repeat these hit-and-run attacks until they are dead. Shotgun ranges are very, very short and accompanied with long reload times. You just let them miss their first shot and then punish them immediately afterwards. Most reverse joint builds are lightweight, which will make them fast but have low armor and resistance. they are a non-issue in PvP. Even though bipeds are in the high skill category, most people do not use bipeds in any real effective way. Slow bipeds can easily be kited, and fast bipeds are mostly grounded. So you can abuse both these things. But for the skilled biped players, they can truly shine. You'll learn why in my advanced PvP guide video next. When dealing with a melee player, you just have to prevent them from getting near you and tear them up from a distance. Finally, there's energy and drone weapons. Just rely on dodging their attacks, and then simply attack them when their weapons overheat. That should cover all the basics you'll need to start PvPing. The next video will be an advanced guide on how to use each weapon effectively in PvP, as well as in-depth build stats to look for. I put a lot of time and research into making these guides, so I would appreciate it if you liked and shared this video with anyone interested in PvP. And feel free to ask me any questions in the comment section below. We also have a Discord server you can join to test builds or do some competitive PvP. Lastly, be sure to check out my PvP build videos as well. See you on the battlefield, Raven.